Well, we are very excited at the GMG Media Ireland stand to welcome Alyssa Carson, none other than a future Mars walker. Thank you, Alyssa.
Yeah, super excited to be here.
Why are you in Ireland? Tell us a bit about that, and then we're going to talk about, obviously, all the excitement about what you're doing and you're in training for.
Yeah, well, I'm super excited to be here at DTS and actually be speaking later today, actually. So super excited. I mean, a lot of my stuff is related to space, so I'm going to be speaking on a bit about like the space technologies and what's actually being developed for something like a mission to Mars and what really are the future plans in that sense, and then also a bit more about like the importance of dreams and actually following them, and whether that be something as large as maybe wanting to go to Mars or even within your own businesses.
You're probably the youngest speaker that we've had. Would I be correct in saying that?
I'm not too sure if I'm the youngest.
But you're 18
I'm
years of
18,
age.
so
And
could be.
Still studying and training.
Right, yeah. So I'm still currently just in high school and finishing my high school classes, and then at the same time doing speaking and also doing trainings to actually help benefit my dream.
How very strange in school what they must think. I mean, what do your classmates think of this?
Yeah, obviously like my classmates know that I'm interested in space and this is what I'm doing. But the good part about it is it's also like living almost like a balanced life because a lot of my classmates, they're just like, oh yeah, like whatever.
It's just Alyssa, the
yeah,
astronaut,
it's just Alyssa.
no big deal.
Yeah, exactly. They don't
Very
really
standard.
see it as like a big deal or anything.
Wow.
So it is nice to have that as well.
Tell us a little bit about where this journey began. Has this been a dream as a child that you will walk on Mars one day, or is this maybe something that only happened a few years ago?
Yeah, so I first got interested when I was like 3 or 4, so pretty young, somewhere around that age. My dad kind of remembers me running up to him and saying, oh, are there people on Mars? Are there people in space? Is space real? I knew absolutely nothing about it. And so our best guess is that was actually a cartoon that I was watching, because I actually had like the poster for the cartoon, and basically these friends go on imaginary adventures every episode, and they had an episode where they went to Mars. And so really, I don't know where else I would have even heard the word Mars, so that's kind of where we think it all came from.
But what does Mars look like in your mind? Do you know what, you obviously had this dream and this fantasy, but now you really want to get there. What do you think it's going to be like?
Yeah, living on Mars is going to be super different. I mean, there's not going to be much there. Rocks, red rocks, and just kind of dust.
No parties.
Yeah, nothing that exciting, but definitely the interesting part is there's still a lot of science and a lot of research to be done there. So that's kind of the exciting part of it. There may not be cool, I mean, there's like mountains and stuff, but nothing like too crazy to see.
When you say there's a lot to discover, what is there to discover, and what do you think that you can do?
Yeah, so what I would want to do as far as like my contribution to the mission itself would be to study more of like the biology and geology of the mission. So in that sense, taking the water samples that we've already found on water, testing for signs of bacterial life, learning more about the soil composition, the study about the atmosphere, the history of Mars. So hopefully seeing if Mars is, can we live on Mars? Trying to understand a bit more about what options we have with Mars as a whole.
A little bit different to being a pilot and astronaut. Are there fears involved with this? You're obviously a very brave woman. Any kind of fear at all in what will happen on that mission?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily too scared. I mean, space is obviously super dangerous. There's a lot of dangers up there, especially on something like a mission to Mars. None of that necessarily scares me too much, and I feel like that's just because I've been learning it for so long. And then also you see there's tens of thousands of people working on this mission to make sure all the astronauts are safe. So I kind of feel in good hands. And then I'm mostly afraid of just insects, so I'm getting away from them anyway.
So not shooting up to Mars, just insects. Okay.
Yeah.
Your father, obviously a huge part, and is here as well, a big fan, and has been, I presume, a role model and also encouraging you all the way. Would you say that?
Yeah, definitely. Even when I was super young and I was first telling him, oh, I want to be an astronaut, obviously he didn't realize that 18 I would still be working on it, but he was still super supportive and said that I could do it, and he's gone through space camps with me and gone through and traveled all over the world with me doing either trainings or speaking, so really awesome to have that support and that background. Definitely couldn't be where I am without that support from my family and all.
So as we know, Chris Hadfield is here.
Yes.
When are we going to hear about your mission to Mars? When do you see yourself? You're 18 now, heading up this journey.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think I'm looking to necessarily be applying into the astronaut selection program and process until after college.
Okay.
And
so you're going to go to university first?
Yes. So next step is just going to university, possibly working up to a PhD, kind of seeing where I am in terms of astrobiology, and then a few years of work experience, which is usually needed so in your respective field, and then after that applying and seeing where that brings me. So
very different work experience to working in Abercrombie, just NASA.
Yes,
just
yeah,
a little bit different.
Very different. Definitely has to be some kind of STEM related thing, but the mission to Mars isn't projected until the early 2030s.
Okay.
So plenty of time.
To prepare
keep
yourself.
preparing. Yes.
What do you do for downtime, Alyssa? It's obviously very focused on your school life at the moment, and then this training, which is obviously intense. But do you enjoy hanging out with your friends? That sounds very. Do you hang out with your friends at all? But what do you do to relax?
Yeah, I definitely think that I've lived that balanced life. Growing up, I played competitive soccer. I did ballet.
Okay,
I did
so you're a very
piano.
competitive person.
Not quite competitive, but I mean, it's just like that normal, watching Netflix, having those lazy days as well. So I can definitely keep up with my Netflix shows along with my studies. So
brilliant. We wish you every success. And obviously, as a female representative in this industry, we are so proud, and we're very happy to have you here at the Dublin Tech Summit. So welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.